But the problem with Terry was, um, he went overboard with his character, and I mean to the point where he was clearly giving himself more advantages. I don't even know if some of the shit that he picked out of the book was was okay or not, but he had like multiple different. I mean, his character was just packed with weapons. I mean, he had a katana on his back, and he had a fucking spear, and he had a fucking one of those Chinese straw hats that blades came out of it, and he could throw it. You know, and I don't know anything about um, certain perks and stuff and certain items that ninjas can get. Because, like I said, that is one of the books that I do not have. But he just had a ridiculous amount of shit. He had a sash that he wore over the belt of his many things, and the sash was like a red sash, and you know, completely standing out if you're a ninja, by the way. And he's like, "Oh, well, I'm not really that kind of ninja. I'm more the front line guy, you know." I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm not okay, you know. He's like, I'm a ninja that does things a bit differently. Well, what he would do was, he would put a robe, like a holy man's robe, over his midsection, and then he would put like Buddha beads on himself, and he would have like a small set of prayer beads so that he could juggle them. And his guy was bald headed, and he would run around and he would pretend that he was a monk, but really he was a ninja assassin. And that's how he got away with wearing a lot of what he wore, which is, it's really smart. Don't get me wrong. And Shay, her cat folk, she had a ring of like illusion, but all she would use it for um, was to pretend to be, I shit you not, pretend to be a fat lady. She would walk around with this ring of illusion, and it would make everybody think that she was this fat human lady, when really she was a cat person. But she didn't want anybody to know she was cat folk. First off, people don't really take too kindly to cat folk, and secondly, she's a cat folk that's dressed like a ninja assassin. So her disguise, whenever she was in town, was she would just pretend to be this fat lady, this fat commodore lady. I was like, why a fat lady? She's like, well, I don't want to be attractive because I'm not going to draw attention to myself. I'm trying to kill people. I don't want some drunkard or something, or a couple of assholes on the side of the street to, notice my ass if I'm hot or something like that. I want to be kind of somebody that's, genuinely, unattractive and stuff, somebody that nobody really thinks twice about letting pass on by. I'm like, oh, okay, that's smart. I'm like, you're going to get that one guy who's the chubby chaser, though. And sure enough, a drunk guy did hit on her. So, because I said that, Terry put that in while we were running around town. So, but, he had a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, he had the katana, he had this hat thing, he, had the side sash, he had, like, dual knives, and he had a bunch of shuriken. He had ninja stars, and he had an ability that, oh, he also had a blowgun too, and he had an ability, and I don't even know if this is an actual ability because from the book or not, because I haven't read it or whatever, but it just seems like he had way too many abilities, and this one was really overpowered, and it shouldn't have been, and it was an ability that allowed him to throw like 3 ninja stars at the same time, right? Well, it's seemingly not all that impressive until you actually see it in action. I mean, he rolled for each single star, and then he would roll for, because he would often do it to when people weren't expecting it, for surprise attack. And he also had poison on them, so he'd roll for poison too. And he'd roll all this shit in like groupings of 3. And before you knew it, he was just killing people with ninja stars. It's kind of fucking ridiculous. You know, he was really overpowered for a level 1 character. And then, of course, you know, we had this whole thing planned out where basically the main premise of the story was we were hired by our clan to go get members of this clan who had defected. We all had backstories with certain members of these clans and stuff, and we came up with this big, elaborate thing, right? Where, like, the son of the shinobi got together with the second head of the house, and together with him and, you know, a bunch of other people, they all plotted to defect and start up their own group. And we were sent to basically kill them. And that was pretty much what we were doing. And it just so happened that the members of the group that I was a part of, I was a part of the Hand, which was part of 5 members who were pretty much like the right-hand men of the shinobi, his top assassins and stuff like that, because we had all rolled to see which one of us was going to be in this group and have this backstory. And I had already had the scars and everything. I came up with that so that my character could wear bandages and basically a hood, like a hooded robe, so that I could pretend to be like, you know, somebody who was sickly and stuff, and I could always have the bow staff by my side, and I could walk around and pretend to be the sickly vagabond dude. And I would have a bag with me, and in my bag would be all my ninja stuff and my mask and stuff that I would put on, you know. And I just said, yeah, you know, I have scars and stuff from, you know, my main, you know, ninja enemy. We were all told to come up with our own ninja enemy that would inevitably be a part of this group that defected. But one of us was going to be a part of, like, the Hand, and the rest of the Hand members all would betray that person, and he'd kind of be out for revenge. And we were all going to roll to see, you know, and we all started rolling and stuff, and Terry's just like, why don't you just be it, man? I'm like, if that's cool with everybody else, I'm like, you know, I don't mind one way or the other, man. He's like, yeah, well, you already kind of got the scars and stuff from your main enemy and stuff, and, you know, that's, you know, kind of your excuse for wearing the bandages and stuff when you're not wearing your ninja gear. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, it would kind of make sense. And everybody was cool with it, so I was like, oh, awesome, I get to be a member of the Hand or whatever. You know, that kind of got me a little bit more into it. And I think part of the reason why he did that is because he knew that, you know, I wasn't kind of looking forward to it, because I didn't really see how we could make a major campaign with ninjas. Us all just being ninjas, but like I said, that's because I don't know anything about ninjas for D&D. But oh shit, I got allergies, like motherfucker. So, anyways, we all start out, you know, in this town, and we're looking, that we know these people who've defected have been conducting business around here. We just don't know where they are, either in this town or near this town. We do have a sense that their work has been present, though, as far as them being in this town is gone. And we all start off in this town, and he gives an elaborate description of this town. It's like a town that's intermingled into this wooden wilderness, and it's like a town that has like each building has like two layers to it, a top and a bottom, either store or house and stuff. And there are bridges connecting the top layers of these houses, and everything's kind of like made out of wood and stuff, and stuff from the tree and timber pretty much. And there are still some trees that are like right in the middle of town, and they kind of serve as like either guard towers or portions of certain you know stores and stuff like that. Like there are trees intermixed into them, and it was really impressive. And he's like, the mayor also has his place there, the self-proclaimed mayor of this town, and he lives in the biggest fucking tree house and the biggest tree and shit, And, like, okay, cool. And we all did our own thing to discover out, how we could find, you know, this group of assassins. I'm like, I'm going to go to the mayor's place and I'm going to see if I can't talk to him or whatever, or if not, I'm going to see what kind of bounties are currently out, and I'm going to pick the biggest one because the reason why we heard that they were here is because they were taking on bigger bounties upon themselves, and three people had already died in, mysterious ways, in the ways of an assassin, a professional. And three people around this particular town had already died. So I'm like, okay, well, if I can't get anything out of the mayor, I'm just going to go and I'm going to pick the highest grade of wanted man. And I do, and I go over there, and, I'm pretty much rolling crap through most of this game. And he's like, they don't really take a fancy to you, you look like a leper, bandaged up and stuff like that, and they don't want nothing to do with you. And I'm like, okay, I just take the biggest one off the list, which is the dude with the highest up, price on his head. And Terry comes up with this fucking ridiculous name, Grandolph Lundgren. Kind of like Dolph Lundgren, except he put Grandolph, it's like a mixture of Gandalf and Dolph Lundgren. And I'm just like, that's the stupidest shit. But whatever, who gives a shit? So, the dude with the biggest price on his head, it's like